Okay, in our previous video, we looked at filling out the first page of Thomas Peterson's return, and we came down to line 15, which is the taxable income. This is the amount of money that he's actually going to pay tax on, as opposed to the $61,292 of wages or the $537 of interest. Because of the standard deduction we got to subtract, he's only actually going to pay taxes on the $49,429. So we need to now look that up. We need to know his filing status, which was single, and we need to know this taxable income number, which is $49,429. We'll go into our instruction booklet that we got up in the first general video. Make sure it says 2020 tax table across the top. We're looking in the 49,000 section. The first column is at least, and the second column is less than. So he has 49,429. So that's at least 49,400, and it's less than 49,450. So we're going to use this row here. And we're going to go across and notice these filing sections. He's single, so he'll be this first column. So 49,400 to 49,450. We go across, and in the single, 66,64. Okay? So his tax goes on page 2, the tax, line 16. 66.64. Now line 17 is an amount from Schedule 2. In this BAF 101 example, we do not, we're not worried about any other schedules, so he doesn't have that. So line 18 is add line 16 and 17, so that's still 66.64. Line 19 is a child tax credit or credit for other dependents. He didn't have any dependents, so he doesn't get those credits. Line 20 is amount from Schedule 3, line 7. Those are additional other different kinds of credits. And again, we're not dealing with any other schedules, so he doesn't have any other of those credits. Line 21 is to add line 19 and 20, but we don't have anything. Line 22, subtract 21, which for us is 0, from line 18. So 66.64 minus 0 is 66.64. Notice there is a sentence here, if 0 or less. In other words, if this is a negative number, if line 21 is bigger than line 18, then you would have a negative number here. And then they say, just go ahead and enter 0. Don't ever enter a negative number. Okay? Just enter the 0. Okay? So, that's us there. Line 23, other taxes, including self-employment tax from Schedule 2. Again, we don't have any other schedules. So add lines 22 and 23. This is your total tax on line 24, 66.64. Okay, so that's his total tax liability that he has for the year for his federal taxes that are going to go to the IRS. However, he's already paid. He's already paid some in because he already had taxes taken out of his paycheck, and his employer took that money and sent it to the IRS already. Okay? And so that's line 25A, formed how much income tax was already withheld from his Form W-2. So we go back to his Form W-2, and at the on box 2 is the federal income tax withheld, $98.51 and 12 cents. If this was more than 50 cents, we would round this up to $98.52. But it's not, so we'll keep it as $98.51. So that goes on line 25A, the $98.51. He didn't have any income tax withheld from his 1099 interest form or any other forms, and so his grand total of withholdings on line 25D is the 9851. Line 26, estimated tax payments. So that's if he owned his own business, he had to pay estimated tax payments in. He didn't have that. Any amount applied from the previous year's return. So if he had a refund on the previous year, he could have said, oh, just hold on to my refund, and I think that maybe next year I might need it, so just hold on to it. Okay, so if he would have done that, that would have also be on line 26. Most people who are figuring on getting a refund and they're figuring on next year they'll probably get a refund, so they don't do that. So we'll just leave that blank. Lines 27 through 31 are all what's known as refundable credits. Credits that you can get money back even if you didn't pay any in. And the earned income credit is the biggest of those. There's a lot of special rules related to the earned income credit. Okay, there's additional child tax credit if you didn't get to use it all on line 19. American Opportunity Credit, that is from you going to college, and if you paid for it out of pocket, you can get credit partially refundable from that. And line 30 is the recovery rebate credit. This is where if you didn't get all of your stimulus check money, then whatever part you didn't get of it, you would put here, and now you would get it as part of your tax return refund. So for Thomas, being single with no dependents, he should have gotten $1,200 back in the spring of 2020. Then he would have gotten $600 in December of 2020 or January of 2021. If he got both of those amounts, and this is not discussing the $1,400 from the spring of 2021, that recovery rebate credit will be put on his next year's tax return. So this is only dealing with the first two stimulus payments. If he didn't get all of his, let's say he got the $1,200 but he never got the $600, then he would put that $600 here to show that he had never gotten it, and then he could get it back. Okay, I'm going to say, however, that Thomas got both of his stimulus checks, so he's not going to have anything there. Okay, line 32, add lines 27 through 31. This is your total payments. Well, he didn't have any, so we're leaving that blank. Line 33, add lines 25D, which is the 9851, 26, 32, both of those are 0. These are your total payments. So that's 9851. Line 34. Okay, if line 33 is more than line 24, so line 33 is 9851, line 24 is 6664. Is 9851 more than 6664? Yes. So this line applies to us. We keep reading. Subtract line 24 from line 33. This is the amount you overpay. So his actual tax liability was $66.64, but his employer had taken $98.51 out of his paychecks and already handed it to the IRS. So he has an overpayment. He paid more than what he needed to. So we take the $98.51 and we subtract his liability, $66.64. And that means that he paid $31.87 in more than he needed to. He overpaid. Now, he can do several things. He can apply this to estimated tax payments. If he thinks that in 2021 he's starting his own business, that's what he should do, and he should put that 3187 down here in line 36. But if he is not having any intentions of starting his own business, then he's going to want the whole refund back. And so on line 35, it says, amount of line 34 you want refunded to you. Okay, and so he wants all of it refunded to him, so he puts in the 3187 there. If he doesn't want it all refunded to him right now, he just wants to apply that to his self-employment business, then he would put the 3187 in line 36. Or he can divvy it up. He could put 3,000 in line 36 and 187 in line 35A, or however he wants to do that. Okay. Routing number and account number. If he wants this 3187 to be directly deposited into his bank, he will get it in 7 to 10 days. That way, usually, this year, taxes are backed up and things are taking longer. But usually he would get that fairly quick if he e-files this return and he puts in a routing number and the account number from his bank account, and he has to check off whether it's checking or savings account. This form 8888 is if he wants his 3187 divided amongst different accounts. Maybe he wants to put some in this account, some in that account. Maybe he wants to invest some of it in bonds, whatever. Gives him other options. But you want the whole thing direct deposited into one account, then don't worry about the form 8888. You just put your routing and account number there. If you have no routing and account number here, if all of this is blank, then they are going to send you the 3187 as part of a paper check, or they may send it as a debit card. So he would have to watch out for it, and it is going to take weeks and weeks longer than if he has it in a bank account. Now, if remember back in line 34, if line 33 is more than 24, so we checked that and we said yes, it was. So then we continued on with that line. What if line 24 was 10,664? Okay, and we would say that 9851 is not more than line 24. Then we would have skipped those lines there, and we would have gone down to line 37. Okay, and that means that we owe money. Our tax is more than what we already paid in toward it, and therefore we owe more. Okay, so that would go on line 37, and then Thomas would have to write a check to the IRS for that extra. If it's over $1,000 that you owe to the IRS, then there's also line 38, estimated tax penalty, and you would have to fill out a 2210. You'd have to calculate out the penalty and put that in there as well. Okay, now the third party designee. This is if you want someone else to be able to discuss the return. If the IRS were to want to discuss this return, you want someone else to be able to talk to it about it, then that person's name, phone number can be in there, and you can check the yes box and give them a PIN number. If the IRS calls them, the IRS will ask them for the PIN number. If If they don't know the PIN number, the IRS will refuse to discuss it.